Welcome to the You Name It podcast. I'm Jerry Taylor, and I'm here with Davin Christensen.
Hola, Jerry.
I threw you off with that slow delivery, didn't I?
Yeah.
Sounded like the tape was slowing down when I was talking. I'm Jerry Taylor.
I'm Jerry Taylor. Welcome to the You Name It podcast.
Yes, this week we are chock full of exciting topics. So, wait a minute. No, we're not, because I have one show note.
You just told me you had one. I was going to say.
I know. This is going to be all on Davin because, but we should be fine. It's not going to be all on you. You know that. But we'll be fine because Davin is in Washington, D.C. for his first trip of his tour that he does. And usually when Davin hits a new city, there are all kinds of fun complaints that we can listen to.
Oh, yeah. I've got a list.
So I'll save my one show note for a little bit later to derail anything we're talking about.
Well, let me tell you what's going on here in D.C.
Do that while keeping yourself safe from company talk that gets you in trouble.
This is more COVID bullshit.
Yeah, I figured. Warn the crowd. Now Davin's going to get all COVID talk about it, which
just stupidness. So this is one of those cities where you have to show your Vax card and an ID if you want to go out to a bar or restaurant.
Yes.
And also
they just started that, right?
Yeah, it's the governor. It just the first 2 days I was here, you could go out and do anything. Well, now they implemented this, and guess what it is here in D.C.? It's Restaurant Week.
Restaurant Week with your pass.
So, yeah, you couldn't have done Restaurant Week when anyone could have gotten in, but now...
Yeah, I bet Restaurant Week is pissed off because they probably would have liked to have it last week.
Yeah, and have a crowd. Not cut the people out. But it's such a pain in the ass to get in and out of places.
Is there a line everywhere?
Well, when there wasn't the ID and the Vax card thing, it was like the last night people could go out and party. It was like the end of the world or something. There were lines
the night before
outside.
The restriction came in.
There were lines outside of every bar and restaurant. It was ridiculous. It was like,
a bunch
woohoo!
Of anti-vaxxers saying, well, this is the last time I can get hammered. I might as well go do it tonight on a weeknight.
Yeah, and it was a weeknight. It was like the middle of the freaking week. It's like, why are there 25 people hanging outside the Rocket Bar to get in?
The Rocket Bar.
But
I get it. I mean, being D.C., being all government linked, I'm guessing that they're like, let's show them how to do it. Let's say, New York did that too, though, didn't they?
Yeah. But what's weird is like the hotel has breakfast here.
Yeah.
They want you to show your fucking Vax card to go into the free breakfast.
So you care? What about if it's on your phone? Are they counting that, or are they saying you have to have the card?
So far, I have my actual card, but so far, the person I'm working with was able to show his on his phone, a digital copy of it. But we're at the convention center, and you have to show it to get in there and all that other stuff. And we have a pass that gets us into convention centers. It's called an ESCA badge.
Yes.
So all week we're setting up with the ESCA badge. And yesterday we go to lunch. We come back from lunch, and they're like, you need to show your Vax card.
Okay.
So go over to that table over there. We go to the table, show them the Vax card, show them our ID. You could tell they're new at this. They're looking, they're checking the name, checking the date, all that other stuff.
Figuring it all out.
And then the guy goes, okay, well, you're going to have to go get your dot next.
Yeah. So my guess is what that means for the people who don't know is that on your regular show credentials, they'll put a dot on there that shows that you're vaxxed, right?
Well, supposedly.
Okay.
They pointed us over to the press credential area.
All right.
That no one was there yet. Well, no one's there yet. So let me make a few phone calls. It's like Dude, we went to lunch. We're coming back from lunch. We've been in the building for half the day already. What is this dot? Well, you'll have to show your vaccination card and your ID over there to get your dot. I said, well, then what was this whole freaking table set up for? What
Yeah. Did you get your regular exhibitor badge?
Well, here's what they told us. Well, we're with the convention center. We're to the convention center. That over there is the auto show.
Okay, I get it. That's the promoter's
And I said, well,
table.
we were told that our exhibitor badge, we just have to show it once, and that was it. So does this wristband work with the exhibitor badge, or do I have to go get a dot as well, and then go get my exhibitor badge? Oh, let me make some phone calls. So nobody freaking knows.
They're just making it up as they go along.
So today we came in, and I had my wristband from yesterday, so they didn't even check me. So evidently a wristband's good enough.
They had, was it the kind like you go to a concert and they clip it on and
Yep.
then you have to cut it off?
Yep.
Okay, but you were keeping them on the whole time?
I pulled it off and I'd put it on loose so I could pull it off and put it on. So
Yeah.
anybody can just slide a wristband on and walk in the show. You know?
Right. Are you supposed to have a different one every day, or is that supposed to be for the duration of
Well,
the install?
Here was the weird thing. The guys that came in the morning and got their wristbands, they had pink wristbands, and we had blue coming in after lunch.
Okay.
And not a soul checked it after we were in the building.
Yeah. They usually don't once you
No.
get in the building, right?
But, I mean, walking in the front doors, they didn't check. Because you go up an escalator and then you go in the hall, and there's a security
So it's like
there.
normal.
Yeah.
During the build, you basically can walk in and out, and if somebody's curious, they can ask you to see your shit.
Yep. So now I think they finally have it figured out that if you have just the ESCA badge, like you're a worker,
Yeah.
then you get a dot on that. But if you have the wristband and you've been checked and have your exhibitor badge, then you don't have to go through that all again. You just wear your exhibitor badge and you're good.
I always had both. Do you do
Yeah.
that? Because I use I always use the lanyard with ESCA on one side and exhibitor on the other side of it.
Yep.
So I flip it over and just be done with them.
Well,
Yes.
Here's the thing.
It would-
The
yeah.
guy I'm with, they let in, and his ESCA badge is expired. But they were
No, they
going to
didn't
give him a
look at
dot. Yep. So it doesn't
Funny.
matter. They don't know.
Credentials are hilarious, ladies and gentlemen, even though you probably fell asleep during that, but they are interesting.
Shut
because
up.
I remember
Even though
one
you probably
year-
fell asleep during that, you dick.
Well, Davin said a perfect thing. If you can put your wristband on yourself, then you can fix it so you can take it off.
Yep.
One year I got my wife into press day at an auto show. Before I worked for that company that did it, I was working for the press at that point. I did a job like on a Tuesday, and I got all kinds of credentials, like full access because of the different clients I was working for that day. I ended up having like 2 wristbands and a whole bunch of different shit. Well, one of the female producers for broadcast TV gave me her wristband and credential, and the credential lanyard thing, and said, "Yeah, take your wife." So she slid it off, and then Lisa put it on, and we went down there. It was a bust, but that's how easy it is to get into places sometimes. Well, and that was like 2003. So it's different now.
Like one of our friends, Josh, that listens to the show, was telling me how he gets into like concerts and parties and stuff, like rave parties and stuff.
Yep, I know this one.
He'll dress in black.
Yeah.
And he'll throw his ESCA badge on, because no one knows what the hell it is outside of convention centers. And he'll carry in a case of water or two and walk right in the backstage.
That's what he says. Just walk into just so we can go see a music act or something.
Act as if you belong there, and you're bringing in water, and you don't have time to show your ID. Your hands are full, and they usually open the door for you. And
Better yet,
then you
act
pass
like
the water
you
out.
don't want to be there.
Exactly, angry. And then he passes water out to all the people around him.
Yeah, here you go. Have some water.
It makes a lot of friends.
All right, you'd have to pay $5 for that up at the concession, but
Yep. And
you
then
can have a free bottle of water.
our installer friends were saying anytime they want to get in somewhere, you just carry a ladder.
Yep. You know another thing to carry that I found out? A fan.
If you carry a fan?
Like you just get a shitty little cheap fan.
Like a desk
like
fan?
an oscillating fan or a box fan or something.
Yeah.
You carry that in and they think, oh, so this guy must really need to be in there. Somebody needs a fan. Must be the talent. Because they had us locked down in Canada one time where it was ridiculous. There's like 3 checkpoints, people checking your shit every time. Every time you hit an escalator to go down a level, there'd be a security there checking. But carrying a fan in changed everything. We needed the fans, though. We had to cool down some equipment that was getting too hot. But
Yeah. Well, one of the years I was here, one of the people working the booth said, "Man, security is really tight in this building." I said, "No, they're not." And he's like, "Yeah, they were. They're checking IDs and they're checking all this other stuff." I said, "Look, I'll bet you I can walk out of here with a T-top." So I took a T-top out of one of the vehicles that was in the back room.
Of course you can, because it looks like you're working.
And I walked it right out the front door. It's like nobody stopped me.
Yep. Act like you don't want to be there, and everybody will think that you work there.
Yep.
Perfect. Trying to think of other things that happen that way. And we've already talked about a bunch of them. Like going to park at the concert venue and asking where vendor parking is, and it's always the best parking.
Right.
And you get really close to the building. It doesn't cost you anything either. That's the other part. Free parking if they think you're a vendor.
Call ahead and say you're loading in.
Yeah.
Where do I go?
The whole black clothes angle for those people who are going to try this now is because when you work with audio and video equipment or anything to do with staging, you wear black because that's so people can't see you during the show.
Blend in the background.
Yeah, so that's sort of like the uniform. So you just wear all black. There's your tip.
There you go.
Now we'll both be fired from every job we've ever had for giving away the secrets.
Vax cards, wristbands, wear black.
Yeah. I did find out over the years, I didn't find out, but I made up this idea that because of the ESCA badge, so an ESCA badge is a corporate sort of society that a bunch of convention centers subscribe to.
Yeah,
and then
like,
you have to become a member of I forgot what it stands for.
Yeah, but there's like 20 convention centers, and it just makes
that
it
require
easier.
it.
Right.
It's not a union or anything like that, but it's more about, let's just all get together and we can use the same credential. And I realized that works. Any credential that you have with your picture on it, it doesn't matter what it is. But if you're wearing a badge with your picture on it, then you're really important and they'll just let you through.
Yep.
I would go in and out in Canada. Canada doesn't use ESCA. And even while they had show credentials that you were supposed to be wearing, I would just have the ESCA badge go back and forth, and they never once question anything because you just look important.
Yep.
With a lanyard and an ID.
Oh, I did notice at the airport that the clear line is now longer than the TSA pre-check line.
Because they keep giving it to people for a free trial? Is that what you think?
Well, I think a lot of these corporate events now, you have to register through Clear your vaccination status and stuff like that. So a lot of people have joined, and now it's to the point where it's not any faster than...
No. So again, that people who are listening know, and they may not be travelers, that you have your regular security for just regular old people. Then you had your TSA pre-check that popped up.
Yep.
And you'd have to sign up for that, and that was a fast line, so you could stop having to take your shoes off and all that kind of stuff. And then Clear came around, which is sort of like a weird in-between, isn't it?
Well,
like Clear doesn't give you pre-checks deal, but it gets supposedly a faster line, right?
No, it gives you pre-checks, and you jump in front of the TSA pre-check people. So it's another level, but you pay per year, whatever it is, $75 a year to be a member of Clear.
Well, I thought that it just pushed you to the front like a more of a priority line for first class. It just pushed you to the front of the regular line.
No, it pushes you to the front of the TSA line.
Why would that be? Isn't TSA supposed to be... I'll use the old phrase. Isn't TSA supposed to be the dick and balls of security?
No.
Get around?
Not anymore, because TSA, you pay and it's good for several years.
Yeah.
Whereas Clear, now they do an optical scan and all this other stuff, and they do facial recognition, and so they charge more, but it's a fee every year to be a member of Clear.
Yeah, of course.
But
a way to make money.
Their benefit is you get in front of that line.
Yeah, I never worry about it anymore. I had pre-check for a while, and I lost it. And we don't have to talk anymore about that. But it really isn't that much more difficult to just go in as a regular person with no pre-check or clear.
Right.
I mean, every flight that I had in the last 4 years, I only had a couple of times where I would have had to wait, where I did wait, and those were international flights that I'd have to wait anyway.
Well, part of the benefit,
going from Canada back over to the U.S., you don't even get to the part where it's TSA PreCheck doesn't work for them anyway. In other words,
right?
That works when you land. So you're
part of the benefit is you don't have to take your laptop out of your bag. You don't have to take your shoes off. You don't have to take your belt off. All that shit.
But if you're streamlined and cool like me, you don't really worry about it because I can be through that line with my laptop and everything because I bought a TSA-approved backpack. So I only have to unzip and unfold the back. There's a compartment on the back of my backpack. So I just unzip it, flip it open. That goes through on its own. The other part of the backpack with all my shit in it just follows it through. It's not two pieces either.
Okay.
It's perfect. You should look into them. Just look for TSA approved backpack. It's an amazing thing.
I've never been into backpacks. I don't know why.
Oh, you don't carry one for travel?
No, I've got a little roller bag.
Yeah, but you store it above you and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference because my backpack just slides under the seat in front of me. Doesn't block my feet room either. I can put feet on either side of it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And now I don't have to stand up and go into the overhead compartment to get anything. And it's easy to just breeze right through. Unzip, fold open, push it through. And nice. I used to not do that. I used to carry a laptop bag.
Right.
And put a bunch of shit in there and have to do all that crap. But the backpack changed my traveling life. You should try it.
Okay, I'll look into them, Jerry, but I've never really been into backpacks.
Travel tips with Davin and Jerry. Actually, we did have a topic planned, which were hotel room tips and tricks when staying in a hotel room.
Yep.
And I think you kind of started it by saying something to me that you had to do at your hotel. What was that?
Oh, at this one? My furnace was... It was 74 degrees in the room for the first 2 nights. I could not get it to cool down. I set it to
sounds nice, but
yes.
Because it's freezing where I live, but 74 degrees in a hotel room is blistering hot.
You cannot sleep at night with that.
And there's no air circulation either, probably.
And the furnace is making all kinds of noise, and I've got it turned down to 61, and it's not dropping at all. Well, lesson learned. Clean out the air filters on your furnace.
This is not really what most people think of when they think of a hotel hack. It's not like doing the job of maintenance yourself.
Well,
I'm going to crack open the furnace and I'm going to clean out the filters in the bathtub.
Well, here's the thing. After I did it, it quieted it down, and then I went down to the front desk and bitched and switched rooms. So now I have a balcony where the door opens up.
That's what you should have had to start with.
Especially since I'm a smoker. So
especially since you're platinum for life or whatever.
Lifetime.
Emerald forever.
Yeah, and my room now has a couch and not just a chair, so.
Do you ever lay on the couch in a hotel room? Because I don't.
I do when I'm watching TV.
Yeah, I don't usually. I usually like the chair better.
I don't like tucking myself in or anything, but...
You don't get the extra blanket out and lay down, take a nap on the couch?
No.
You got a bed sitting right there?
No, that's stupid. The couches are usually the most uncomfortable thing in a hotel.
I know,
too.
they're super hard, usually.
It's like
they're built to last.
It's like the first couch you would buy in a dorm room. You know?
Yeah, if you take the fabric off that couch, you might not be surprised to see a bunch of milk crates in there as the foundation.
It's just wood and straw.
They are terrible.
But you told me a good hack.
Okay, what was it? I don't remember.
It was the curtain hack about when your curtain doesn't close all the way.
Yeah, this started years ago when I was traveling all the time like Davin does, and the bright lights in hotel rooms bugged the shit out of me. And a lot of people, and you may be thinking, if you're a guy named Ron Fox on Facebook, you might be saying, because this came up on Facebook, you might be saying, close your eyes. But still, I can see the light coming in. Like, you can detect the light with your eyes closed.
Dear Jared.
Especially if it's flashing, you know?
Or what about those little masks that you can put on over your eyes?
Yeah, anybody could wear that, but then you just feel stupid.
Yeah, but no one's in your room, so you're good.
I wore those in the hospital. And I didn't feel stupid. Maybe I'd do that now. But the thing is that every hotel room now has a couple of different devices in the ceiling. And now you'll have your smoke detector and then maybe a carbon monoxide detector and then a motion sensor. Because what they do now is when you stop moving around in your room, it turns the heat and air conditioning off until you come back in.
Which absolutely sucks. And there's hacks
and every
around
one
that
of them
too.
has a light on there too. So I would take electrical tape and I would put it over every single tiny flashing light that was in the room, because when I turn the light off at night, I don't want to have flashing lights all over the place.
Yep.
And that includes the phone, the TV.
Oh, yeah, my phone's blinking right now because I had a FedEx package that got delivered today, and they must have called my room.
Yeah.
So the one phone has one light on it. The other phone has 3 lights to let me know that there was a message.
Are they in the same room?
Yes.
That's what I was on my Facebook discussion. I was talking about the phone because what pisses you off is that you don't think about looking at it. You turn all the lights off. You're already, in bed, ready to go to sleep kind of thing. Lights off, and then it starts flashing. You're like, motherfucker. And then you cover that one. And then you get back and turn the lights off, and the one across the room is flashing. And you're like, why is there 2 phones 6 feet away from each other anyway?
Exactly.
I don't need 2 phones in here.
Yeah, one of them's a cordless one on the desk by where your laptop would be.
Right.
And then it's more than 6 feet. It's maybe 10 feet away, but yeah, that's where the other phone is.
Couldn't work it out with one phone in that room. So that led to the curtains. The curtains have always been a problem at hotel rooms because you try and if they're not done well. I've been in rooms that are done really well that'll have a blackout shade that's perfect.
Yep.
And those are usually higher end downtown ones that it'll roll down and it doesn't matter where your curtains are because that whole thing just blacks out the room. But a lot of them are just the white sheer thing and the thick curtain. And you can never get them to not have a gap between with the sunlight blasting you in the face at 6 a.m.
Well,
when you want to get up at 7.
Here's the fucking thing on those. The white sheer thing, they always make the track end exactly where the other track ends on the thick one. So now the white sheer thing does nothing when you have both of them closed because it ends at the same spot.
Well, or it blocks the other one from closing because it's too close together somehow.
Yep.
What I ended up doing was, for a while there, I would take gaffer's tape, which is sort of like what you would think of as duct tape, but it won't stick to surfaces forever. Mm-hmm. And I would gaff tape the heavier curtains so there was no gap in the middle of it. Then I decided just to bring clothespins and I'd shut them. But
there's a new hack.
A new hack. Every hotel room has a closet with hangers in it, and every time those hangers have little clips on them. So I don't know, what are those clips for? The pants, I think.
Yep.
I think they're for hanging a suit, so the
pants
get clipped on there, the suit coat hangs on it. Yeah. So you just use that. Use the coat hanger and those clips just to clip the curtains closed. Hooray! We helped you.
Solved your problem.
Except for right now, I'm thinking, I have been in hotels where the hangers don't come off the rod, too.
Yeah.
Where they're just, I'd have to get get out my multi-tool and bend them open, probably.
Yeah, the endless loop ones that is like they're so afraid of getting their hangers stolen.
Yeah, that it's just one circle around there. Around the rod, you can't get it off there.
Now, when you were in hotel rooms, would you rearrange the rooms? Like,
yeah,
the furniture and shit?
Not like for a long time I worked with these guys for Court TV, and we would travel for sometimes a month. You'd be during a trial, you'd be stuck for a month sometimes, or 3 weeks, or whatever it is. And these guys would actually rearrange like the artwork on the walls and stuff.
Yeah.
Like move the furniture, change the pictures around to where they wanted them. But really, my only motivation is to create a comfortable place to sit and watch Netflix, shit like that. So I usually move the chair, because there's a couch and a chair. Rarely is there not a chair. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'd move the chair to where I could reach a plug and a light and move a table over there so that I'd just be able to sit in this chair with my feet up. Sometimes move it towards the bed so you use the bed as a footstool. And get your drink, get your laptop on the little table, or plug it into the TV. You know. So that's my rearranging. What do you do?
Sometimes I rearrange, but like you were saying, the artwork. Like in this room, if I were to move my couch where I want it, the art would look wrong. Like
it would be hanging on a wall with space under it.
It'd be an empty wall with one picture on it, and a table lamp. It'd be like, okay, funny. Could I live with that or do it?
I could.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that much right now. I could totally live with that because I don't care. I'm not having guests. There's not going to be someone from Better Homes and Gardens coming in to take pictures of my hotel room.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The thing that bugs me is the zoom mirror in the bathroom.
Zoom mirror? Wow.
With the light.
The kind with a monitor in it?
No, the mirror that, like, for putting on makeup and shit.
Oh.
It's got the light in it, and it's like, everything appears larger when you look at this mirror, and you see all the hairs in your nose, and all the hairs grown
flip
out.
It around, and it's normal on the other side?
Yes.
You don't have to look at the nose blackheads.
That's true. Some of them you can flip around. Some of them you can't. Some of them
I've had them with a light on them before that wouldn't turn off too.
Yeah, it's like,
one of those things where I had to unplug the whole mirror because it had some sort of constant light on it that. And I don't want to have to close the bathroom door at night because there's lights in there too. So.
Right. The weird ones are the high-end ones that have the TV behind the mirror.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about when you said Zoom. I thought you were talking about having a Zoom meeting while you were on the toilet.
But that's weird too, because it's like, why are you watching TV in the bathroom?
I don't know. I sort of feel like it's more for people who are trying to get ready that don't do the same kind of job as we did. People who have to shave every day.
Yeah.
And
I gotta watch the news in the morning.
Women that put makeup on.
I gotta get the latest stock information. I gotta log on to Bloomberg and see where the stock market's going right now while I'm shaving.
Yeah, I think it's more of like a look how cool we are rather than a useful thing.
Right.
Because the only time that I ever turned that TV on was just to see how it looked. I never really used it when I was in those. Because when are you spending that much time that you have to watch a bunch of TV? Even shaving doesn't take that long.
Or when they put a phone in the bathroom. That's usually the same type of bathroom.
Yeah.
There's a phone in there, too. It's like, really? Do I really
There is not a call that's important enough to stop me from shitting.
It's just one more blinking light to have to tape off, right?
And I'm not talking to anyone while you're on the toilet. I know people do that.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a feeling that you do that to people.
I do that, especially like after the show when we're wrapping up and talking about how the show went and other things that we might have missed topic-wise. I'm taking a pee sometimes when I'm talking to Jerry.
I have a feeling that there are people out there that will take a shit and have a conversation with someone at the same time.
Oh, I've run into them in restrooms. Where
I've heard them, yeah.
Yeah, you hear them talking in the stall, a couple stalls down. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Really?
Yeah, that was the weirdest part of the cell phone revolution, was suddenly hearing people talking when they're in a restroom stall. It was always so weird, especially if you didn't know they were there. Like, you walk in, you think it's empty, and you go in a stall, and then all of a sudden you hear someone talking next to you. Yep. You're like, wait a minute, are they talking to me? Is there going to be a foot that's coming underneath that thing and tap my foot? You know? Stop it, weirdos. Everybody, that reminds me, everybody stop putting your phone on speaker and talking in public to people.
Oh, God, yeah.
I don't get it. It's stupid. It's not cool. Just because you've seen 400 other idiots doing it out there, you don't need to do that. You need to keep your conversation from me having to listen to it at the supermarket. Supermarket.
Oh, I heard a great one this week. One of our stagehands, this is one of the first shows that's been back in a while. And he runs into another stagehand that he hasn't seen in a while. And the guy goes, "Hey, Fred, did you hear that Reggie's dead? He died of COVID." And Fred goes, "That could be why he's not calling me back."
And that was his response.
That was his response.
Wasn't like, oh, shit, that sucks.
Yep.
Reggie's awesome, and I miss him. It was like, oh, that's why he wasn't calling me back. Like, it's a normal, everyday thing.
Didn't you say something about some guy died and didn't show up to work and they were going to fire him?
Yeah, it was some Facebook meme thing I saw. Someone telling the story about how corporations don't give a shit about you. Your company doesn't care about you because someone didn't call and didn't show up for work, and they were all talking about firing him, but he was dead from COVID. And they're like, that's how much your company cares about you.
Yep.
They don't give a shit if you're dying. They just want you to be there.
I've always wondered if I died...
There's some truth to that. You believe what?
I've always wondered if I died on the road, how would they get my body back?
In the traditional way. The airline will do it.
Yeah, but
first your body would go to like the medical guy from the county or whatever they call those, medical examiner.
Yeah, but who would pay for it?
The company would pay for it.
You sure?
Oh yeah. They couldn't not do that. That'd be such bad publicity and bad relationship with their people. And I don't think it costs that much. I think there's actually sort of a price cut on things when, like, that's an emergency situation type deal. And they'll just... I'm sure somebody has to fly out to do it, you know?
They'd ship you with the gear back to the office.
Like, that someone would probably be me. So if you died in D.C., then I'm sure they'd call me up and say, hey, you need to go out and retrieve Davin's body. We don't have anybody else to do it.
We need you to go get Steve Stinson's clothes out of his room.
Yeah. Don't say the names of the people who are in jail.
Ooh, that just
one of those things, though.
Makes me feel sticky.
It's usually a family member, but not always.
Right.
Because who would do it for you? Your sister, maybe?
She might have to. Because my daughter wouldn't be able to figure it out.
Yeah, I think your daughter could figure it out, but it would be easier on everyone to send somebody who knows how to travel a little bit without having to, because she probably traveled, but mostly just for leisure activities with people,
right?
Not as a solo, I do it for you. I'll volunteer to go get you.
You'll come get my body?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Be great. Be great.
Can I put that in my will?
Like, I don't know if you have to.
Jerry needs to pick my body up if it's another...
The next company-wide meeting that you guys have over there, just make that a point. Say, I want to make sure everybody knows that if I die on the road, that I want Jerry Taylor to go get the body. You guys have to work that out.
And you pay for it.
Well, they'd have to, because you're working for them.
It's Jerry's last...
What do you think, they just leave you there?
Road trip.
Do you think they'd just leave you there? Do you think there's companies out there that would just be like, ma'am, your husband died in Vermont?
We'll pay for the funeral expenses in Vermont, but we're not going to pay to travel
saying,
back.
Would they just go, You probably should know about that so you can do something about that, lady, because we're out. You know, like they just drop the whole thing.
Well, I mean, what if it was a contractor, not an employee?
Still, there's some ethical grounds there that they'd have to take care of.
Yeah, you'd think so.
I mean, if it were a contractor, like a subcontracting company,
Right.
then they might have to figure it out. But if you're an individual subcontractor for them, that would be the deal. You know, this is perfect, Davin.
Why?
Because you brought up bodies.
Uh-huh.
And I was watching some murder show. I don't remember which one it was. Oh, I was watching the Ray Donovan movie.
Okay.
I realized that I never finished the last season they did. I had like 5 to go. So I started watching those and thought, should be time for a new season. And they canceled it and they made a movie instead.
Okay.
But anyway, during this movie, the Ray Donovan character has to bury somebody in the woods. As you would say, bury somebody in the woods. And then I started thinking about The Sopranos did a lot of that woods burying for people they killed. And that brought up the idea of shallow grave. Like you always hear, body was found in a shallow grave, almost every time. Do you know why that is, Davin?
Because a regular grave you have to dig really deep, and most
Yeah,
people
because
are
digging
lazy.
is super hard.
Yeah.
That's why. So even it goes against my whole theory about serial killers having so much energy, too. You
Digging
know?
is very hard.
Yeah, it's super hard. That's why it's always a shallow grave. But I used to talk about how serial killers have all this energy because it seems that they can be up 24 hours a day stalking the people they're going to kill, you know,
Yep.
sneaking around people's houses and have a full day job. All this shit. Like, where do they get the energy to do that? Well, it stops at the grave digging.
Yeah.
Because that's super hard.
And they find that out.
Have you ever
It's like-
dug a hole for real?
Yeah, especially in the woods. It's like you're hitting roots and all kinds of... Fuck
Roots
that.
and rocks and shit like that.
Yeah.
They give up quick. They're like, fuck it. I think I can get it buried. I think I can get dirt over their face.
Can you imagine having to do that with like one of those little army shovels that fold up?
Yeah, I
mean,
know. I was watching another thing that it was a battle scene, and they're all pulling out their little army shovels. I'm thinking, that's not going to...
You're
How
not getting
long will it take?
leverage.
Right? How long is it going to take when you're laying down and you're trying to... But I guess they did it. Like, they're just trying to get even inches will help in
Yep.
that deal. But you are not digging a grave with one of those.
No. Well, you know what's worse?
By yourself
You know
with one shovel, it would take you, all night just to dig it.
and why do they call it a foxhole?
I don't know. Maybe that's because foxes live in holes that are around the same size.
And they're shallow, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the army stuff isn't supposed to be super deep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's helpful if you have time to make it super deep. But those little shovels are for like, I got to dig in the next 3 minutes so I can hide behind this log better.
Yeah.
You know, I got to get a few more inches down. You didn't know we were experts on warfare, did you?
Yep. Well, you know what's worse than digging a hole, Jerry?
Being the body in it?
No. Working your
No,
whole
I still say yes. But no.
working your whole ass life to become a professional football player,
Yeah.
busting your ass and showing the world that you're awesome and making it to the Pro Bowl. And
Yeah.
the Pro Bowl has always been held in Hawaii. You've never been to Hawaii before. You want a great vacation. And this year, the Pro Bowl is in Las Vegas.
Yeah. You're just saying that the Pro Bowl is usually in Hawaii? Because I don't know this. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Every year it's in Hawaii.
To Vegas.
They moved it to Vegas this year.
People like Vegas, though. It's not as good as Hawaii, but I get your point, though.
I would be pissed.
Some kids like, God damn it.
I would rather
could've
be
hung out.
buried in a shallow grave than go to Vegas.
Do you think there's buried in a shallow grave like Joe Pesci in Casino?
Yep.
Do you think that there's really any time for them to enjoy Hawaii when they're going for the Pro Bowl? I feel like it's still one of those, check in the hotel, get up, have a meeting in the morning, go to practice.
Now they're out there
Go
for
back,
there's a lot of free time there, I bet.
I've actually never covered a bowl game for, like, when I did ESPN work and all that stuff. I've covered college football games, and obviously pros and all that stuff. Never a bowl game, so I don't know what their situation is.
I would be pissed.
Who knows?
Though.
Yeah, you can be pissed about that. That's, to you, worse than digging a shallow grave.
I've got another thing that would be worse than all of that.
What is it?
Do you remember a couple weeks ago in D.C. off of 95, they had that snowstorm that all those people got trapped in?
Yeah, was it like Connecticut too? Places like that?
Yeah, this one was coming into D.C. though. And
Yeah.
I had a cab driver drive me in, and I said, hey, were you stuck in that snowstorm last week? And of course he was. 13 hours he was stuck.
Yep. I
With
heard
a-
a few stories about those.
With a customer. And
So how much was the bill?
He had to waive the bill. He didn't get paid. But he said they were 10 minutes away from the guy's destination, and it took 13 hours in this snowstorm.
That just pissed me off because, you know, if I'm 10 minutes away from my destination by car, I can walk that. You know?
Yeah.
I
Well,
am not going to sit for 17 hours when I could have walked it in, you know, what do we walk at? 3 miles an hour or something like that?
well, the worst is being stuck in a cab for 13 hours as a passenger.
Yeah, that's terrible, especially the way cabs smell.
Yep, and this guy was not easy to converse with either. It wasn't like we were having in-depth intellectual conversations on our ride.
You're saying there was a language barrier.
There was a big language barrier.
Yeah, which happens a lot because people who immigrate to the U.S. find that getting a cab job is pretty easy to start with.
Yep.
So,
My coworker on this one took a cab to Home Depot and Lowe's to get some gear for us,
yeah.
and his cab driver was from Pakistan.
Okay.
Evidently, he treated the 2-lane road as if the center line meant you drive down the center line. That line has to be in the center of your car.
They do have different road rules over in different areas overseas. I've noticed when I watch TikTok videos and such. That seems to be a lot of free-for-all going on in some of those places.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but you can't blame it on a person's nationality, Davin.
Well, it's based on where they came from, right? And the laws in that location. So you can blame it on nationality.
No, you just say that there's a person who doesn't really understand the rules of the road and probably shouldn't be driving a cab. But it's not because they're Pakistani.
No, well...
I can't understand what he's saying, or you shouldn't be driving this thing. You got to put yourself in that position. Say that you decide, I'm going to move to wherever.
Right.
Say you're going to move to some glorious tropical Mexico place or something, you know?
Jerry's teaching me how not to be racist. Okay, continue.
Still, after all these years. But, you know, they have those places that you could retire with your U.S. money is worth like 500% more than what it is now. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Belize or something. So say you want to retire, but then you want to work a little bit. You go there. Now you're the idiot that doesn't know how to speak the language and the idiot that's driving wrong.
Yep.
And now, but you're not stupid, just like that guy isn't stupid because he's from Pakistan.
Yeah, I don't know how to steer my goat. Sorry. I'm just...
Your goat. That's what people forget in this whole life. So many people in my life, too, that are like, look at that idiot down there at the corner at the 7-Eleven, can't even speak English. Well, he speaks 1.5 languages. You barely speak one.
Yep. At least he's trying.
Yeah, he's smarter than you are because at least he could do half English and full other language, and you can't even figure out how to talk to me. Not you, Davin.
Plus, he is a Slurpee machine, and you don't, so fuck you.
Yeah, bonus.
Uh-huh.
Slurpee machine. Now I want a Slurpee. I haven't had one in years. Slurpee.
Okay,
Hey,
so I know. We're getting towards the end.
We already passed it. We'll have to wait and jump off when it comes around again.
Next week, maybe we can talk about nanoseptic self-cleaning buttons.
Is it on your show list?
Yes.
Because I won't remember how to say that.
It's ridiculous.
That's a good teaser. Don't say anything more about it because I want to know what that is, and I'll wait until we record the next one to find out what a nano
Septic
something
self-cleaning button is.
Yeah. And, before we leave you, the audience, what kind of beer are you drinking right now?
Stella.
Stella, but you're over in D.C. Don't they have your favorite over there?
Yingling? Yeah.
Yeah, Yingling.
They do, but I've noticed lately when I drink Yingling, my sinuses get stuffed up.
That's weird.
I know.
Maybe you have an allergy to one of the levels of whatever's in beer.
I don't know.
It's not the alcohol, I can tell you that. You're pretty used to that.
Oh, I am.
It's probably some special hops they get from somewhere that affects you.
So, yeah.
I'm drinking all-day IPA on Friday this week.
Okay, well, that'll work.
That's the stuff that gives me less of a hangover. So do you think that Yingling gives you normal hangover, less hangover, or more hangover?
No, it's just the sinus issue. This
No,
nose stuffed up.
I get that. I was just curious. Like, if I drank 12 PBRs, I would have a horrendous hangover. If I drink 12 Labatt Blue, I'll have a pretty decent hangover. But if I drink 15 all-day IPAs, I have far less of a hangover for some reason.
That's weird.
Yeah, so I was curious if you noticed that different beers give you more or less of a hangover.
I haven't really noticed.
That's a question for the audience that's still with us right now. Please send in your beers that give you less of a hangover to younameitpodcast@gmail.com.
There you go.
Anything you'd like to tell everybody before we leave, Davin?
Pop a wheelie, guys, and share, listen, and subscribe.
Okay, pop a wheelie.
Pop a wheelie.